Hello, 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 it's Dina. Hope you're doing well today. Hope everything is going well for your Christmas preparations. Everyone seems to be getting more excited about Christmas earlier this year than normal. It seems like we weren't even into Thanksgiving and I was already seeing Christmas trees. So I think that means something about how we're being hopeful and we're anticipating things that are coming. I hope to be getting our own Christmas decorations up maybe this weekend. We'll see. Today's Vlogmas vlog, I'm doing vlogs about forgiveness this month. I want us to forgive ourselves. I'm trying to forgive myself for some of the things that I've been finding annoying about myself this last year, or things that people have said about me this last year, and I'm trying to evaluate those things and come to terms with those. So I think that it's a good practice for us to forgive ourselves, and I think that leads to forgiveness of others. Maybe if, as we're noticing this trait in ourselves, we see it in others, and maybe that annoys us about other people. So if you find yourself seeing one of these traits and you say, well, that annoys me about other people, yeah, you might take a look at that, because it's probably because of yourself that it annoys you about other people. So today is about laziness. If you've been called lazy, or if you're feeling lazy, maybe you're not getting as much done lately as you were 6 months ago, or 4 months ago, or 3 months ago, or last year, or 2 years, whatever. Maybe you're comparing yourself to your previous work and what you were working on, and you look at yourself today and you say, I'm just not accomplishing all the things that I want to get done. I feel so tired lately. I feel so out, and I must just be very lazy. I'm feeling very lazy. And we tend to call ourselves names pretty quickly. So as you call yourself a name, first off, just be very aware that you're calling yourself a name, or you're thinking about another person using a name, because names are very powerful in this world. And if we name somebody something, that is really sort of trying to exhibit a kind of power over them. We have a control over their name. So let's be careful when we're calling each other names and calling ourselves names. If you think about how you would react if you were in a room with someone who was talking about your best friend, your very best friend, and they said, oh, she's just this lazy slob. She just doesn't. Would you want to say, yeah, you're right, or would you say, she's got a lot on her. She's got a lot. So think about yourself. If you're having problems ever forgiving yourself for something, the first thing you can try is to think of yourself as the third person, to say he or she is this way, or they're doing this, or whatever. And see if you find it in yourself to be sympathetic to that person. Because if you're sympathetic to that person, but you're not sympathetic to yourself, you see where I'm going, right? So be that way to yourself. Be sympathetic for yourself. And allow yourself to understand. There is nothing to gain by calling yourself lazy. Just think about what's really happening. So what's usually happening for us is that we're experiencing overwhelm. And if you think about how Christmas is coming, how everything has been changing, if you're an American citizen, if you're a global citizen who relies on United States politics, the last 3 or 4 months have been a roller coaster for us, honestly. It has been up and down and up and down and in and out. And a lot of us have had some trust issues, and we've had these issues destroyed by very close family members. So it's it's important at this time to give yourself a break, number one, just to say, you know what, I'm probably feeling very overwhelmed. I've got a lot going on. And so what I need to do is just break it down so that I can maintain doing the things that I need to do and want to do and that are impacting my life in positive ways. And let me see if I can let go of some of these things that I don't really need to do. I'm just not needing to do right now. And so what I want us to think about is, I've got in the title of this, to get your ass on YouTube. If you're lazy, if you think you're lazy, do it. And why do I say this? I say this because if you start YouTube and you make a challenge to yourself, I'm going to do this every day. I'm going to post a little short from somewhere, wherever I am. If you're young and you're out and about and you do that a lot. So I made a longer term commitment to do every other day because I already have an obsessive nature. And you'll see there are many days I post 3 and 4 videos in one time. So the reason you should continue to prioritize YouTube if you're already posting, I want to say Drivin Draven on the Hope Crew. He's part of our Hope Crew family, and Draven is here to support all of us. Draven is the bomb. So Draven says you should do this because you are here to be here for yourself. He says it is the season to be here. I started talking about Draven and I'm like, oh, I love Draven. And I forgot what I was even going to say that he said. He says so many smart things. So he says that it is the season. And he says there are seasons. You think about seasons of life. And I like at Christmas that we say it's the reason for the season. Jesus is the reason for the season. But in this case, I would say the season is the reason to get your ass on YouTube. Because right now there is just an explosion of people like us who are finding our tribes. We are finding people we can relate to. There are so many people in Hope Crew. You can't follow them all, and I know Draven wants to. You can't. You can subscribe to them all. You can get their notifications. You can see their videos come up, and when something resonates with you, you can click it. But you don't want to make YouTube watching other people your job. What your job, or I don't know, I can't say what your job is. That's more to come. But oh my gosh, I'm already at 8 minutes. Okay, so yes, you should keep doing YouTube. You should continue to make a commitment to yourself. Oh, I remember what he says. He says, you're already here. If you're already posting, he says, you've already done the hard part, right? He says, now what you have to do is show up and perform, right? He's so right. He's so right. If you're already here, you already have us. You already have a family. You already have a posting idea. Keep going, keep posting. King Explicit, keep posting. So, but how can you do that if you're overwhelmed? How can you do that? Well, what I am in my outside life, outside of YouTube normally, is I'm a process analyst coach. And that means I do exactly this. I try to break things down and figure out how to make processes work better. So the strategies to minimize the overwhelm. Number one is I want us to rethink our to-do list. When we look at our to-dos and the coming up, what's coming before Christmas, take a real look at it and see if you can categorize why you are doing some of these things. Are you doing these things because they need to be done? Are you doing these things because people are expecting you to do these things? Would the world fall apart if you chose not to do these things? Would someone else be able to do these things reasonably well If you're talking about laundry, maybe if you sort things into darks and lights and put the reds in a separate place, then somebody else can do the laundry if they just already have the loads ready, right? There are other things that people can do. And sometimes when we try to do too much, we are taking away the other people's abilities to take care for themselves and to raise themselves to their own highest potential. So let's be careful about that. We want to categorize, why are we doing these things? To what end are we doing? If we are worrying about disappointing others, I really want you to go listen to Fear Less, Live More, 222. And he has a lot about programming. And so if you're doing some of these things, like if Thanksgiving, you're getting ready for Christmas now, you're having to wrap everything, you're having to buy everything, you're taking care of the big to-do list, you're organizing the family, just look at this and say, is this programming? Is this something that people are expecting me to do without even asking me to? Would I really disappoint them, and how much? Or is it really just my idea that I might disappoint them that is keeping me doing it? Maybe they don't even care. Maybe they just as soon go out for Chinese on Christmas. Who knows? But if you're programmed to be a good person, to be a good wife, a good mother, a good father, a good husband, and you're programmed and you say, these things are very important, sort of try to break that programming and to think about that. And I say that because another thing that Draven says is that you should not play in God's face. If God has put this opportunity of YouTube here in front of you to start building your future, to get on this train right now where YouTube is monetizing, it might take you a year, it might take you 2 years, but you know what? What if you don't start? Where are you in 2 years? Honestly. So if you can't monetize overnight, so what? Anyway, okay, so another thing to try to avoid the overwhelm, do a done list. If you're feeling lazy, instead of a to-do list, make a done list. Say, this is the stuff I got done today. I did this, and 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 I did this. And write it all down, because you will be astonished. You ain't lazy, my friend. You are getting a lot done. It might be having to deal with things. It might be what you have been under all day. But write it out for yourself so you can see it for yourself and see that you're really doing something. Another way is to see if your planner is working for you. If it's not working, do not be afraid to make your own. So this is my planner. And honestly, it looks like it's a mess, but I know what's on here. I have my obligations, things that other people are expecting in a certain place. Let me just show you like a mock-up I made of today. And so I have a process written down. I don't have anything that's not absolutely important on here, because I will write down what I have done later as I do it. I know what needs to be done around the house. I'm not an idiot. I can see this needs to, right? So once I have it done, I write it down. And otherwise, my focus is just on those things that I feel really need to be done. Okay, and the last thing I want to say is, another thing Draven says is, he says, get into alignment with God. God will show you what to do. God will send you to the places you need to go. God will, if you open yourself, if you have to have a little more time though, you have to build this in. You have to, it's like they say, to hear the voice of God, either God's voice is very strong or it's very quiet. He doesn't seem to speak in a room level. And so if you tune yourself, you can hear the whispers. And it's very important to listen for the whispers. And you can't hear the whispers if you're not in alignment, if you have not brought yourself in. And So whatever you have to do, think about this as being your number one priority, just to get yourself into alignment so you can figure out where God is sending you. You're not so distracted by the things people are expecting of you or your programming that you're set up, that you're blocking yourself out to actually hearing the things that you need to hear. Now, can you believe this started out with a conversation about being lazy, right? Overwhelm. It's not about being lazy. It's about strategizing and strategizing your future. And like Draven says, monetize your life, monetize your future. He says, get something back. I've got one more. He says, to your future, yeah. So he says, this journey is a long one. I'm here for the ride. Okay? I can't imagine anybody still with me after all this time. But thank you very much. I hope you've gotten something out of it today. Please, if you want to have conversations with me, just leave it in the comments. Anything there, I can make up live sessions with you. We can do something together, or we can just go back and forth however you like. Questions, comments, wild screams of protest. Please have a wonderful and safe and blessed holiday season, and not just to my family, but to anyone else watching. Thank you. Take care. Be free.